Greetings everyone, Justin here from Coalition Gaming as always. Today bringing you our monthly club update for February 2024. Now we are, as I'm recording this, it's March 4th. I was away for the last week in February for work, so didn't get to get this out on time, but still wanted to get it out on time. I'm adamant about trying to get these out monthly, whether I have something to say or not, which if you know me, I always have something to say. But it's a little bit late on this, so I apologize, but I wanted to get this out. And again, recording this on the 4th, it should be posted this evening or tomorrow, worst case, because I'm actually gaming tonight, which is fun, but that'll be in March's update. So let's talk about February. Keeping the same format if you follow us. So let's talk first about what the club accomplished in February itself. So the first thing is, on February 4th, I hosted a demo day for Black Powder Epic ACW scale at the Cove, and I had a good time. I always love that game. I love American Civil War, obviously, so any chance I get to demo it is a good day. We had about, I'm trying to think, 3 or 4 people show up to play, to check it out. A lot of people walking by thinking, oh, that's cool, you know, when there's a lot of minis on the table, it looks good. So got a couple people in to come up and demo it. Some new people rolled some dice for it. I actually got Matt out to give it a try, so he's always game for rolling dice, so at least, you know, he knows the rules a little bit now and can play when I bug him to play. But yeah, had some people come out and demo that. Did the standard demo that I always do out of the book you get with it, which is the first one. Real small, simple scale, keeps it easy. So had fun doing that, and again, promoting the game as much as possible with that. That's really it. The other thing is, I talked in the beginning of the last episode for January about how we were going to start doing our online raffles. We did the one for the SU-152, which was a pretty good success. I threw it up for, I believe, $25, and within a little over a week, it reached that mark already, and we were able to raffle it off. Ray, who games with us quite regularly, actually won it, which was awesome. So congrats to him. Again, it gave me some pause to think about exactly how I want to do this. It was the first one we did, so trying to debate if I want to raise the amounts on things or keep them where they at. Again, it was a simple bolt action or 28mm tank. You know, you can buy them for $30, $35, and it was a 3D print one, so $25 seemed like a good fair price. Everyone threw in a couple bucks towards it, and it went quicker than I thought it was. I thought I was going to have to kind of keep putting it up there to say, hey, reminder, this is here. So it went quick. So gave that away as well, which was good. That first one was a success, and will keep me going for doing some more of them. And if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, always check our Facebook page, and I do post it on our Discord page as well. I do run them through Facebook primarily with the pictures and images and all that stuff, but you could always message us, colegiongaming@gmail.com, to see what we have going at that time. I will be throwing probably up a new one here sometime in March, but we'll talk about that a little bit here as I talk about what's going on next in March. So updates for March. What's our plans? Nothing. Unfortunately, nothing. I do not have a game day planned as far as the club goes, simply because, again, work is a little bit heavy right now. I'm working some extra weekends. It's dance competition season. My daughter does competitive dance, so I'll be away again a weekend for that. So don't really have any time, unfortunately, for a scheduled big game day, demo day that I normally try to do once a month. However, the club has been rolling pretty well with 2 or 3 people getting together to game at the Cove. And that usually happens on a Thursday, but we have a group that's been showing up on a Tuesday just because that's how their schedules work. So that'll continue into March. You know, it's great to see club members and friends of the club out gaming pretty continually and helping to grow and expand. 40K has taken off pretty quickly with a group of people. They've been playing a lot of the what's the 500 point called? Combat Patrol. You can tell I'm out of 40K now, so I don't really know. But they've been playing a lot of Combat Patrol. There was some interest in Marvel Crisis Protocol, so Barry has shown a couple of people how to play that. So always great to see the club out learning some new games. But that's really it for March. We don't really have anything else planned. Again, yeah, unfortunately that's it. I will jump ahead to April. April's big plan is April 6th. We have the Bolt Action Tournament that I will be hosting at the Cove. Hoping to get a decent amount of people for that. Usually 16 to 20 people. Again, details are on our Facebook page or on our Discord page. So check that out if you're interested in the local to the area for some bolt action. 1,000 points, going to allow campaigns or theater lists. Has to be infantry, but I'm going to allow some theater lists just to open up and have some fun with that kind of stuff. But that's it as far as the club goes. Real quick and easy. Sometimes that's not a good thing in this case. I wish we were doing some more things, but again, we're just all too busy, and I just got too many plates spinning right now. So I decided to take the month to just recoup and get some other things accomplished. So that's as far as the club goes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I actually accomplished personally as far as the hobby goes, which actually is quite a bit this month for February, all things considering. So first games that I've gotten to get in, again, like I said, we've been trying to get together on Thursday nights to game. A couple of those Thursdays didn't happen, so I got some off games in. But starting with on February 4th, when we did that demo day, not only did we run the demo and everything, Ray came up and he brought all of his stuff that he has painted, which is actually quite a bit. He's put me to shame when it comes to epic black powder. He has beautiful stuff all painted up. Really likes the game. Again, he's in the same situation. Not a lot of people play the ACW stuff. They play, I think he said the Napoleonics quite a bit down where he is. So he brought his ACW stuff so we can play. And we actually put on Culp's Hill, Gettysburg Day 2 in the evening, the Culp's Hill scenario out of the book, because he had enough stuff to do it. Matt stuck around. Him and I took the U.S. Ray took all the Confederate, and we got to put a lot of troops on the table and play that scenario, which is a pretty fun scenario. It's difficult to play as the attackers for Confederates. You wouldn't think so, but the whole table is wooden, so you can only move half distance. Visibility is down. Union are behind rock walls, so you need 6s to hit. So it's a tough scenario to play, but it's a really fun scenario to play how it works out. So we got to put a lot of bodies on the table and play that, which actually at that point then sparked some interest in some other people coming over and checking it out, because there was a lot of stuff on the table. And I got to play some black powder, which I'm always happy about. So we did that. That was fun. I've been playing a lot of, I'm going to say, learning games of Old World. I've gotten out of the 40K, but I'm really into the fantasy stuff. I used to play it a lot back in 7th, 8th edition, maybe a little bit of 6th. I don't remember exactly. But was really excited when that came back. So a bunch of us who have all the old stuff still tucked away in boxes, dusted them off and have been playing some Old World. We've gotten about 5 learner games of that. We started at 500 points. We're up to 750 now, just jumping up. Probably going to start at 1,000 points next now that we've got enough games in under our belts. But really enjoying the simplicity of Old World. They keep calling it's not an updated edition. It's a new game, as they say. But it's still that fantasy 8th edition feel. They fixed a lot of things. Magic is not as powerful, but still a part of the game. Which I think is better. It's more balanced, and they just fixed a lot of things that I think I like. And I won't get into the whole thing here because there's lots of really cool videos on YouTube you could find about Old World at this point. But how they do the charges with the initiative bonus when you charge now, I think is great. Because as you're charging in, you should be able to hit first. So it's a cool thing. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Old World, really enjoying it, and I'm going to keep that up as much as I can. We've also, because I'm not the only one with gamer ADHD in this club, Eric has decided that because of Fallout, the TV series that's coming out, he wanted to get back into Fallout Wasteland Warfare that we had purchased some stuff a while ago and played 1 or 2 games, and that was kind of it, put it away. I put it away personally because the whole point of me getting into that was I really wanted to be able to do a solo campaign for the channel. And to do that, you need a lot of the NPC characters, a lot of creatures, a lot of things painted for that. So I've been slowly working on that stuff as I can. And that was the whole point of getting into it. He wanted to kind of jump back into it again and play. So we've actually played a couple demo games of Wasteland Warfare. He has the starter set for the Mutants. I have the starter set for the Raiders, actually. And then, of course, the actual starter box, so the Lone Survivor, all that stuff. But we played a couple games of that. That's been spun up. Actually, Matt came down to hang out with us one night at the club or at the Cove while we were playing. Thought it looked cool. Always liked Fallout. Actually bought the robots, so he's painting up the Protectrons, the Assaultrons, that kind of stuff, and is going to play them as well, which would be pretty cool. I've never actually seen someone play the robots as a force or a faction. So we got a couple games in that, and we're going to continue to work on that and play that as we go. And you'll see that in my hobby update here shortly, what I've been working on with that. So that's been fun as well. Trying to think what else I got done here as I look. Stalingrad. So Flames of War, and I forget the date, and I don't have it written in my notes, which is dumb of me. But the Banished Zone is doing the Stalingrad campaign for Flames of War. I think they're going to do it as 4 mini events. And so we played for that. I went down to play that. It's pretty simple, 2 rounds, 100 points using the Stalingrad campaign. We were hoping, and he was hoping to have Christian ran it, so thank you if you ever watched these, Christian, for doing it. He did a great job. Had a lot of interest on the Discord page for it. We were expecting, I think, like 6 to 10 people. 4 actually showed up, which is kind of a bummer, but that's how it goes. Life gets in the way. So we got to play that. It was really fun. The other 3 guys were fairly newer players. I actually brought Finnish because I don't have anything for the Stalingrad campaign or theater. So it was either that, US, or my Italians, which are Desert Brasilieri, which weren't going to work as well. So I'm like, yeah, Finns, any chance to fight the Soviets, we'll do that. So I brought them. They actually played as allies because we didn't have any allies, so I stood in as allies. Really fun games. The first one I played Dustin. Pretty sure that's your name, Dustin. I'm horrible with names, but I know him. I've met him many times, game with him many times. So my first cup of coffee too because it's early. But anyway, really fun game. Yeah, Germans. I had to assault, which my army was not meant for moving at all. It was completely defensive type of Finn line, and it was interesting. It was good. I won't go into a whole lot of details about every single game, but I had feinted a force on my right flank with some BA-10s, a platoon of 5 T-26s and 1 infantry, and my main force was going to push kind of on the left flank and left objective with BT-42s. I had 2 full infantry platoons over there, one of them being Pioneers, so I had some flamethrowers in there. Had a lot of artillery support on that side, and that was going to be where I pushed up through. He hammered that side right away. He saw it coming, hammered it with some Nebelwerfers and a whole bunch of artillery, and pretty well pinned them down pretty good. And long story short, my right flank was actually able to chew through the small German force he had on that side. It was the I think it's called hasty retreat, where starting at turn 2, the defender, if they have more than 6 platoons on the table, has to remove 1 each turn. And so he had some like Ferdinands and some pretty big stuff. Well, the biggest armor I had was T-26s, BT-42s, so like nothing, paper mache, anything could have blown through him. So we started to remove the bigger stuff first, but unfortunately the way he had it set up, most of that stuff was on his left flank and my right, so it really opened up that objective that I was able just to finally zip up, push off the infantry out of there, and then zip up my last BA-10s and T-26s and take that objective pretty quick. I shouldn't say pretty quick, it was turn 4 or 5. But it was fun, and he played it really well. It's just outmaneuver him a little bit and just the brunt of the force. So that was a fun game. The second game I played a newer guy as well. We both took maneuver, so we both had 2 objectives on either side to attack. He had to push up through, and I actually don't have any pictures of the second game, sorry. We took some of the first one and then I got distracted. But he pushed pretty heavy because he had a mechanized German force, so I let him come to me, was able to beat him down enough to hurt his forces. All of my reserves, we both had delayed reserves, so turn 3 my reserves start rolling in just as he's about to push in for the assault. Gave me that extra firepower. I was able to cripple him pretty decent on the one flank, and then did the same thing. My BA-10s rolled up, my BT-42s, T-26s just rolled down the flank and took the objective. There's nothing he could do at that point because he was pinned down enough, and most of his defensive line support wasn't anything great. He had some mortars, he had a couple, I think he had some He had something big. It wasn't tigers. I don't know if he had panthers or something like that, but they came in on the opposite corner. He needed them to, and then he couldn't get them over in time, so I won that game as well. So I ended up taking first. Not really a bragging thing. Again, there was only 4 of us, and everyone else was kind of newer players, but I enjoyed it. I got to teach some things. The last game, my second game, was a little frustrating sometimes. Biggest thing, guys, to anyone who plays, especially if you're going to dive into competitive, and if you're not a competitive player, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But read the rule books and don't rely on your opponents. And I say that just because the last game that I played, every time I'd go to do something, he'd question me, and I'm like, well, this is how it's played. Oh, well, so-and-so plays it this way, and then when I played that game last game, he told me this is how it's played. Open a rule book. Look at it yourself. Don't trust other people. So I felt bad. And I let him get away with some things that probably shouldn't have. He moved a lot of his infantry intermixed within mine within 2 inches when he wasn't assaulting, that kind of stuff. But that's the takeaway of this thing is I love playing at those smaller events because I'm a diehard Flames of War. I've been playing since version 1. I used to play pretty heavily in the competitive tournament. I'm not great. I'm not amazing. I wasn't ranked, so that's not the whole point of this. But I know the game, and I know the finesse of how to play certain things. And I love teaching new people to play, but you can only teach so much. You gotta look at the book, because even I get some things wrong sometimes. But it was really fun. I enjoyed it. They had a bunch of prize support from Battlefront, so I declined because I got more stuff than I'll ever need. So the other 3 players were each able to take something, which was really cool. And that's the point, growing the hobby, right? So got to play some Flames of War. That's the point of that story. Again, long, but that's the point of that. Really enjoyed that. That's really it. Again, trying to game in the evenings. The first half of February was really good, which is where most of those games came in. Second half of February, not so much because of a dance competition for my daughter, and I was traveling the last week of work to Utah and Mississippi, so didn't get to really do anything the last week. But that's kind of it. So let's talk quickly about purchases. My favorite thing that I always think is going to be light, and then I always end up buying a crap load of stuff. So purchases for this month of February for some future projects coming up and some just becauses. So the first thing is, while I was down at that Flames of War tournament, they were doing, I think, 10 or 15% off all Battlefront products. So who am I to turn that down? That would just be rude. So I picked up some more of the Team Yankee Militia pickup trucks. I already have a pack of these. They're painted up, but I figure I might do these without the gunners and machine guns on the back, just so I have the options to, if I'm playing them how I'm playing them, they can actually be WYSIWYG. Or I might end up taking 2 platoons of militia, because I did buy 2 platoons because they're really cool. And they were 18 bucks at 15% off, and they're just really cool square body pickup trucks. You look up some old, the first 4 that I did, I looked up some old 80s themed pickup trucks and followed them and really like painting them up. So picked them up. One of the other things I picked up was some M60s, some more Pattons, simply because I have 6 of these right now. And when I've been playing a little bit of Team Yankee with Eli to get him ready for a tournament, I was running them in a platoon of 4, and they have the same gun as the Abrams, so they're a bit beefy there, but they're a glass hammer because their armor is not that great. So they die off pretty quick. I'm like, I'd love to take 2 platoons of these because they're cheap, a lot cheaper than the Abrams. But then I'm running, since I don't have 6, I'm running 2 platoons of 3. They crumble too much. So I picked this up because this will give me another 5 more, which gives me 11, which actually means I can make a force of these, of having the command and 2 full platoons of 4, and run them that way pretty cheaply and put some support stuff in. And honestly, I love the Pattons, so it's pretty cool. There's actually a couple of them where I work on a military installation. There's a couple old ones sitting, one on display, and one of them they just pulled in from God knows where, and it's sitting in a lot somewhere. But they're just cool looking tanks, so picked them up as well. Again, they were discounted, so why not at this point? Gets me what I needed, and they'll go into the future project pile when I ever get to Team Yankee. Which I have enough stuff built to play U.S. Force for that, 2 different style forces. And then I have an entire Finnish line. That's going to be a video series whenever I get around to that. When Eric stops putting extra games and stuff like that into my queue to play. Also, of course, what else I picked up is the Old World books. Again, playing a lot of Old World. So I picked up the rule book and then picked up the Ravening Hordes because I needed that as well for my Beastmen, which I'm so happy they finally did Beastmen right. The only thing I'm a little disappointed is I've seen more people play Beastmen now than ever, and so a little bit scorned by that, just because I love, you know, I played them for so long, I love them, and now everyone else is jumping on that bandwagon because they're actually pretty stinking good. So picked up the rule books to play that. Nothing crazy to talk about that except, you know, you need them to play, so why not? I also have Skaven, but that's the free PDF because they're legacy, so that was easy enough. And then I did another Warlord order because I'm still working. If you watched last month's video, I have a major project in the works for future gaming conventions where I want to run a Fistful of Lead big World War II style game table on like an 8x6 minimum. So a lot of buildings I need to purchase for that. So been slowly buying some World War II Sarissa stuff as I've been going. And I'm just going through here, don't mind me. So again, the Sarissa Precision flat packs are great because they're great for what I'm looking for. You can paint them up and look decent enough, and they're fairly durable and sturdy enough that they can take a little bit of a beating, not as much as 3D printing, but I like the look of these things. So to continue that project, I actually just grabbed another small shop flat pack, and again, what I'm doing with these is they're all just going to sit in a tote like this until I get what I need to get at least half of the table done, and I'm going to start building and painting all at once. I've been working out the blueprint on the actual 8x6 table for square footage, how much buildings or how much room each building is going to take, and kind of mapping it out on that as I go. So I have a general idea what I need for buildings. I'll probably keep buying until I either buy too much or think I'm good and put it together and realize I want a couple more buildings. But I've been slowly buying for that. One of the other things I realized I should have done a couple months ago is getting ready for the tournament in April. I have a Pacific Theater kind of just scrub woodland jungle type terrain or table that I'm building for that I have in my mind to build. I have all the scrubland, all that kind of stuff, but I need some buildings, so I jumped on and bought a couple of the jungle style terrain, the Woven Palm style village. I got another village type house there, and then I picked up, because you got to have a watchtower and a outpost. So again, nice little flat packs. I got to get these together. If I want to get them for the table, they have to be ready in a month, which is building them and painting them, which doesn't sound that bad, except I totally forgot they were on my priority list, and now I got to rearrange some things on my painting table to get them done. So I grabbed those as well. One of the other things I actually grabbed that I think is pretty cool is, so I was traveling for work, and one of the things I usually try to do is anytime I go anywhere is check out and see if there are any game stores or hobby stores or anything like that nearby, preferably mom and pop type shops. I think it's pretty cool. Eventually I want to do a video series of every time I travel somewhere, of doing like a brick and mortar type video series of know your own hobby stores and promote them and everything like that. I would have loved to have done it this time. I didn't get a chance to because I was kind of on a time crunch. But while I was in Salt Lake City, it's actually Sandy, Utah, which is part of the whole city compound type thing. It's one of the sub cities, I guess you can call it. Again, not very familiar with that area too much, but anyway, stopped at a place out there. It is called Game Haven. It's considered part of Sandy, Utah. Really cool game store, lots of stuff. They said they had tabletop miniatures, the standard Warhammer type display. They had a little bit of Star Wars Legion, a lot of figures for D&D, Reaper, that kind of stuff. They had a massive board games section. They had a RPG section. It was really actually really cool game store. So I walked through there a little bit and was able to grab a couple things. One of the things that caught my eye is this bad boy right here. It's a Stranger Things board game. It covers season 1 and 2. So different tiles that you can actually play and flip for the different seasons. We're big Stranger Things fans in this house. My daughter especially. I've never seen this game before. I thought it was really cool, especially with the figures. So I grabbed that while I was out there. I thought that was a really cool find. One of the other things I actually found that I was pretty excited about was this. So this is a Fallout Atomic Bonds upgrade kit for the Fallout board game, not the tabletop game, the board game. It's a really fun board game. It just takes a lot to set up, takes a while to play. It can be really fun. This upgrade kit is actually for both of them, for the original board game and the New California upgrade. This turns it into a cooperative game. So instead of you all playing against each other, you can actually play cooperatively. So for 15 bucks to pick up the rule sheet, the die, the tokens, a couple scenario, and the cards needed to make it co-op. Thought that was really cool. I've never seen this before, and again, I love this board game. This is actually one where when we go to conventions and we got the hotel room for the entire week, for like 4 or 5 nights, not the entire week, 5-6 days maybe. But anyway, we set this up in the hotel room, and all throughout the evenings and whatever we get kind of burnt out of the convention and just need to go kind of back, get some quiet, we play this game. It's great. I love it. So seeing this, I was very excited about. So I figured why not purchase it. The other things that I got, and I actually didn't get to open these yet because I wanted to do it on camera, that I thought was pretty cool is there's a mall in Sandy as well that I stopped in just to kind of walk around to kill some time. And truthfully, there's a round one attached to it, and I'm a sucker for arcades and claw machines, so I stopped in there to play some games for a little bit to burn some time. But in the game store, or in the mall itself, there's this store here called Level 1 Gamers. Really cool, unique little hobby shop that didn't have a whole lot of, not going to have a lot of board games, that kind of stuff. It was in a mall, so fairly small, but they cater to local vendors, I guess you can say, or like local tradesmen, that kind of stuff. So a lot of really cool, unique stuff. Like they had leather foldable dice trays and leather bags and a lot of different dice and jewelry, like gamer type jewelry made out of like dice and that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think what else. They had a whole bunch of stuff. They had a whole bunch of shelves of 3D printed stuff, so people could get into 3D printing. Or buy models for like D&D and that kind of stuff. One of the things they actually had that I thought was pretty cool was these little tins, which are mini mystery dice tins for D&D or for whatever. So for 10 bucks, I picked it up because one, you can never have too many dice, and I kind of always like the mystery stuff. So I actually have not opened these yet, so we're going to open them now and see what I got. And again, they had a whole bunch of different types of tins that said all different kind of stuff. I just thought that was kind of a cool chaos type image. So let's see what we got in here. Unscrews pretty nicely. Oh, those are cool. My daughter's gonna absolutely love those. So we got in here, I'm gonna try to do it without spilling them, basically a little set of mini dice, and these are purple, translucent type of purple with some white lettering on them. Oh god, see, I'm dumping them already. So they're pretty cool. I'll throw up a picture instead of me just holding them. They're fairly readable, which is what I was worried about at this size, but they're readable enough. But again, I will probably never use these in anything I play, but they're just cool to have around, and I just kind of like the mystery of it. Yeah, I'm good with them. Again, purple dice, not really goes with any of my games or armies or anything, but pretty cool little purchase there. So yeah, that was my last purchase that I had for this month. I'm trying to think if there's anything else weird miscellaneous. Oh, actually there is. So right before I left to travel is Lorcana Inklands, which was the third wave, came out. So I have actually I didn't even open them yet. I got like 10 packs of booster cards for Inklands sitting over in my room that I should probably open and see if there's anything cool in there. I totally forgot about them until now. They literally purchased the Friday before we actually headed to a dance competition, where after the dance competition on Sunday, my wife and daughter dropped me off at an airport to fly out. So I purchased them on my way home just because I knew Inklands came out that day, and they've been sitting there since. So I'm going to open those once we're done here. Not for the camera because they're just cards and you can see what already is out there for that set. But yeah, so that's it for purchases. So let's talk about projects real quick. Projects for this month. Again, shifted gears because of I keep saying because of Eric. I enjoy playing Fallout as well, but I'm just gonna keep blaming him. So makes it easier. But first, I'm still finishing up the last little bit of my bolt action stuff for the my Desert Bracilieri new force that I just put together. So I'm trying to think what else I have to do with them. That's why my mind is racing here. I have a lot of vehicles to do yet, but I was able to get the sniper team painted up and put together, which I realized after I painted it up, like I painted the rock gray, which again, everything is sandy and all that stuff, and I'm kind of with it, but it is what it is, and it looks decent enough for the few times I'll end up using it, probably. I don't know how a sniper force is going to fit into my overall thought with that game, or that force itself, but you got to have a sniper just in case, and it's a pretty cool model. So I got that painted up, and I painted up my second Elefantino for that as an AT gun, just because some of the forces I can do with the theater list are very defensive, a lot of artillery base, so why not have a second Elefantino just to have that extra firepower. Not anything crazy, it's a light anti-tank gun, but it still does the job. I think it's a +4. So I got that painted up as well. Still have a few things on my table to paint up. I got the medium mortar to paint. I have a bunch of the vehicles to paint. What else do I have? A few other things with that force. So I want to get that completely done because I have, again, in my project book, a video series I want to do on dealing with combined arms, and that is part of it, along with 4 other armies for 3 other armies for 3 other game systems. So I want to get that finished so I can move forward with that project. But yeah, got those done at least. I'm going to continue to do them, and then of course again got distracted because of Ushiny with playing Fallout. But one of the other things I was able to get done that is continuing to be on my project table that we've been talking about is Battle Valor 15mm Fantasy. I have some stuff continuing on my table for that, and I work on it here and there. Right now I got some Dwarf Bowmen, Crossbowmen riding Rams, which are really cool models, and working on them continually as other things dry on my table, and they're always a side project. But I had a couple other Iron Golems that are really quick and easy to paint up. Wanted to get them off my table, and I'm trying to find the simple things that I can clear off real quick. So I was able to paint up 2 more of those, so I now have 5 of those things. And they're pretty beastly in the game. I don't know if I'll ever take 5 because they're a little pricey as well, but they're a real fun paint job, pretty easy to paint up, make them a little rusty and grimy, and got those off the table as well. So then from there, yeah, it was really just Fallout stuff because I wanted to get enough stuff done to play what we're playing. We're playing 200 caps, which is enough for me for 3 figures, and a couple other critters and stuff to put around the table. So I started painting my Fallout stuff, started organizing and inventorying that. Actually started writing up a 10 scenario campaign that so I can start working on exactly what I need to paint yet for terrain and for figures. There's a great YouTube page out there, and I wish I remember the name of it. I know it's called Flix Gaming. I think Flix Gaming Table, F-L-I-K-S. I highly recommend you go check out his YouTube page if you like tabletop gaming, especially if you're interested in Fallout stuff. He actually has, I think it's 3 seasons now where he does 10 or 11 games that he has an entire Fallout campaign that is really good. I've stolen a few ideas from him just because he puts it together really well, and he even has on there, hey, if you're going to play these scenarios, here's how to do it. Has it in his descriptions and all that kind of stuff. But I like the idea of doing seasons of like 10 games at a time, and then this way you can take a break and figure out a different path so you don't get kind of bogged down and gets boring. So I've been writing that up, and I think I have like 6 scenarios written up that I'm going to end up doing for the campaign. So back to the original point of that, I've been painting up some stuff for that. Really, of course, you always need some critters running around the table, so I was able to get 3 of the rad roaches painted up and kind of decide how I want to do a paint scheme on them. I have 3 more to paint up of those, so of course one of them will be a glowing rad roach because you absolutely have to have glowing everything. But they paint up really easy. They're already on a decorative base, so it makes it really easy. So I painted up 3 of those. Painted up 3 mole rats, which comes with the box set comes with rad roaches and mole rats. You get 6 roaches, 3 rat bases. So I painted up the 3 mole rats. Of course, I did the glowing one for that. I'm pretty happy with how that came out. I wish I could have gotten the GW makes a technical paint. That's for glowing, Tesseract Glow, I think it's called, now that I think about it. But I couldn't find it in a couple of stores I looked at, so I just did it with what I had. I think it still came out okay. And I kind of kept it dark, the model itself dark, so it glowed a little bit more. But that was fun. That was the first time kind of dealing with that effect. I'm going to continue to work on that as I paint other glowing ones up. I have the ghouls to paint up, so I'll do some glowing ones there as well and continue to work on that. But got those mole rats done, and then, like I said, I got my raiders started, and I got 3 guys complete for that. 2 just regular, I think one's a raider outlaw and one's just a regular raider, pipe pistol type of deal. I'm kind of happy with how they turned out a little bit. The black on the leather jacket isn't that great, and I don't know why, because that's usually the Vallejo black that I use. It comes out okay. Wasn't really happy with that. I probably should have used the GW contrast Black Templar just to kind of get in those grooves a little bit. I will say these figures are a little daunting for me, simply because there's so many like different leather straps and armor pieces, and try to get them to look wastelandy and still have things pop, and without having to go through every little fine detail and paint every little tiny buckle. And so trying to find the middle ground, happy middle ground with them. I'm finding that I have all the GW contrast paints and all the browns for when I did my Beastmen, and playing around with different colors with them to still make them look good, but not super highly detailed, because again, I don't know how much I'm going to be using these, and that they look good for what I did. So pretty happy with how the 2 raiders turned out. And then I did the Raider Veteran, which is the gang leader. And I was kind of trying to figure out how to do that with it. I mean, it's all power armor, so it shouldn't be that difficult. And then went, you know what? It's a raider. Let's make it look like a raider. So I rusted it up really heavily using the Riser Rust technical dry brush from GW, and made it look super rusty. I actually really like how it came out. It's a little too rusty in some spots, but I really like the overall look and feel of it. The rifles that she's holding, I could have done a little more detail, but I'm pretty happy with just doing them black like that. And then a decorative base on it, of course. So I was able to get 3 of those models painted up pretty quick. I have, for my 200 caps, I have 4 models in the army, the warband. And I have a Raider Psycho that I'm halfway painted up right now. I have all the base colors on. I got to go back through and do the detail work and clean things up. But she's just running around with a gas mask on and a pipe wrench, which looks pretty cool. But that'll be my 4 that I need for that. I still have 3 others that came with the Raider box that I got to get painted up. I got to get ghouls painted up. I got to get a whole bunch of other stuff painted up. But the fact that I was able to knock those out pretty quickly, we were actually just having a discussion on it in group text with the guys, with Eric, Matt, and Joe about, do you prefer batch painting the same thing, or do you like these models specifically because, or like these type of models because every single one is unique and every single thing is different? It was a really good question. I'm curious, you guys comment down in there, like, what do you prefer to do? For me, it's kind of somewhere in between, because one of my biggest problems before I even put paint on is I'll stare at a model for 20 minutes, 30 minutes and try to figure out how am I going to paint this, what colors am I going to use. I've gotten to the point where now I actually keep a notebook that I note down all my colors, so if I ever have to paint something up again or do touch-up paint, I know what colors they are. And so for these models, I'm staring, I'm trying to figure out what it is. So once I figure it out and get painting, it goes pretty smoothly, and I like them because, again, they're unique models and it's one of a kind, and you can see your vision come to life, which is great. But then at the same time as once I'm done with that model, I'll pick up another model, I'm like, here we go again. Whereas painting the Italian Braccialieri, it took me a little bit to figure out the colors that I wanted for the webbing and the uniform and the helmets and all that. But once I had that, okay, now I know what I'm doing for the other 70 models, and you can hammer through that. Now, batch painting, and I've talked about this before in other videos, batch painting is daunting at times because you're painting the same thing over and over again. And so like when I was painting the black powder Epic ACW stuff, I'm painting, there's 10 guys on a base, so I'm painting probably 50 to 100 pairs of pants. Okay, now let's go back and do 50 to 100 pairs of jackets, and now the leather, and so that does get tiresome very quick, and that's why I always had side projects. So it's finding a happy balance for me. But I'm kind of curious, what else, like, what do you guys think, those that watch this? Do you prefer doing those one of a kind unique models? Like, again, like when you really get into like the Fallout stuff is great. Anything that has like small war bands, Frostgrave, Mordheim, Star Wars Legion, you can kind of get into it because again it's small. Like each unit is unique. You know, do you guys like doing those one-off things? Like if you're a D&D player and you paint a lot of your own Reaper minis or your characters for that, again, you can really make that unique model stand out and pop. For me, where I'm at with my comfort level of painting, I can make a squad of 10 guys, infantry guys look good, but when it comes to taking the special characters and really making them pop and all the details work, I don't want to say I'm not there and I'm not good enough for that, because I think I am and could be. I just don't have the patience for that kind of stuff. So I'm curious to see what you guys all think. But yeah, that's really all I got done for project stuff, other than, and I don't have it running now just because it would be too loud, but because of playing Old World, I've been kicking out modular trays for myself and other fellow gamers to be able to convert, because Old World changed the base sizes and I'm not ripping off all those bases and redoing them all. So a bunch of the guys are using these. So I've been spitting out a bunch of these. I'm actually looking forward to the fact that I have an Amazon order of 3 more spools of filament coming today, so I can get that running again. It was running great for me. I was gone for a week and a half. I came back, tried to spin it up last night, and the filament keeps snapping on me. So I'm down to the very last little bit of the spool, so it's just because of the shape wound tight and moisture a little bit. So I'm going to get a new spool of that. But yeah, I've been working those, so if you're local and you guys want some of them, let me know what you're looking for. I know you can buy them everywhere. I'm not trying to sell stuff, but I usually do them pretty cheaply for people, just because I charge you for the filament. And if I don't have any projects for my printer right now, which I don't really charge heavily for time or anything like that. But so all the local gamer friends, if you guys need a couple things, look me up. I'll try to help you out with that. But that's basically it for February. So yeah, again, pretty quick, but I ramble, so this is going to be longer than I expected anyway. I'm going to keep moving forward with some projects. We'll see where the Fallout thing comes. I am working, one of the other things I should probably talk about in hobby time and future for the page, actually, is what I should have done is, I had Nate, who's a friend of ours, comment in January's, and if you're watching this again, thanks Nate, but I did hear you, comment in January's about doing a how-to for Black Seas. And I actually started taking some notes on that. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it as a mini-series so the videos aren't too long, or all just one big long one. But I have started taking notes to figure out how to do that and how I want it to look. And I'm probably going to do an unboxing or what's in the box of the Master and Commander set. Because I have a chance to get my hands on one fairly cheap. And open that up, do that, and maybe do that as a giveaway. Again, these are all thoughts. Don't hold me to it. But I did hear you, so I'm working on that for the page as well, and then again the Fallout campaign thing once we get going, and yeah, that's been it. So I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you watched till the end and I didn't annoy or bore you too much, but that is all I have. So again, March is at the end of March will be fairly light. I do actually have the last weekend in March available. It's my only weekend in March available, which is Easter weekend, so I'll probably try to record that Saturday and get it posted up actually before the end of the month, because by that time I just realized I'm going to be knee deep in tournament prep. So I'll be talking a little bit more about the tournament at that point, and I should have the lists in. I should have numbers of personnel playing, and talk a little bit about that. I will not probably discuss and post any list stuff because I'm hoping to have it up before April 6th when the tournament happens. But that'll be April's when I actually talk about some listing and some builds and stuff like that. Maybe that could be fun. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm done rambling. Hope you enjoyed. Obligatory like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see upcoming from the club, any games, anything you want me to discuss, individual videos, that kind of stuff. Again, I'm one man doing most of the recording. Until I get the other club guys to start kicking some stuff out. But I listen, I hear, and if I can make it happen, I'm going to try to make it happen. So, because I'm here because you guys watch, or don't watch, and I'm going to keep going until you do watch. So, I appreciate everything. We will see you again in a month, and happy gaming.